Should I invest in Bitcoin? Bitcoin explained. We all want to get easy money without giving out too much energy. Having quick access to money will undeniably make our lives easier because by simply lying on our bed, money will make its way to our credit cards. Hello awesome people, this is Finance Boss, and today I will tell you the number one digital currency that is known for making its investors rich. Bitcoin. But keep in mind that it's important that you know what Bitcoin is before investing. Before we head to the main topic, if you're new to this channel, make sure to click the subscribe button and share this video. First off, what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a form of digital money that runs on what's called distributed ledger technology. Although Bitcoin is still very new, distributed ledger technology has actually been around a really long time, for centuries in fact. Now, let's talk about whether Bitcoin might be a good investment or not. Bitcoin has the potential to serve two purposes. First, as a form of money, and two, as a store of wealth. So, to evaluate whether Bitcoin is a good investment or not, we need to ask ourselves how well Bitcoin serves these two purposes. It's all about supply and demand. We already know the supply of Bitcoin. There's a finite amount of Bitcoin out there, and we know what it is. It's the demand side we're still not sure of yet. If Bitcoin can truly serve a useful purpose, the demand will be huge. If not, then Bitcoin is just another speculative bubble. So for there to be a real demand for Bitcoin, like long-term real sustainable demand, it has to become a viable medium of exchange and or storehold of wealth. For Bitcoin to become a widely accepted medium of exchange such as US dollars, it would have to be really convenient to send and receive and also have stable purchasing power. These are the requirements of a good medium of exchange in terms of being convenient. To send and receive Bitcoin definitely checks off this box. However, Bitcoin is still not there yet in terms of becoming a medium of exchange. That's why you can't pay for your coffee at Starbucks with Bitcoin. You can't pay for your groceries at Whole Foods. Now for Bitcoin to become a legitimate store of wealth, which is the other purpose that Bitcoin can serve, it would have to be a place where people can preserve or increase their purchasing power over time. As of now, the market cap of Bitcoin is approaching 1 trillion. That's still very tiny compared to the market cap of gold, which is 13 trillion, and by the way, market cap means the total value of assets is outstanding. So, as a percentage of gold, outstanding Bitcoin is only at 7%. That means if Bitcoin truly becomes a widely accepted alternative to gold, then a big portion of the $13 trillion invested in gold right now could move right on over to Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, making them go even higher. There are legitimate concerns about how cryptocurrency is used. In a speech she recently gave, President of the European Central Bank, Christine Lagarde, said Bitcoin is a highly speculative asset that has conducted some funny business and some interesting and totally reprehensible money laundering activity. There has to be a regulation. And whether it will be good for Bitcoin or bad for Bitcoin remains to be seen, because on one hand, having rules and regulations make things more legitimate and trustworthy and orderly, and that actually could encourage large financial institutions to start investing in Bitcoin. So what's the verdict? Is Bitcoin a good investment? I think it is, but only as a small portion of your assets. Bitcoin can be summed up in two words: skeptically optimistic. There's still a really wide range of outcomes at this point. On one extreme, Bitcoin becomes a universally accepted medium of exchange and store of wealth and alternative to gold. On the other extreme, if lawmakers shut it down or some other new cryptocurrency with better technology wins over, Bitcoin could go to zero. Both actually seem plausible at this point. That being said, the payoff can be huge because if you're right, you could become very rich. Richer than you ever would have become if you'd invested in gold stocks or other more established asset classes. So, I think the smart way to invest in Bitcoin is to treat it like a high probability lottery ticket. It has huge potential and it looks very promising. It also has the possibility of becoming worthless. So you don't want to pull all your life savings into it, but you could put 10% of your money into it and the rest into more proven assets. That way, if you win, you'll be rich, but if you lose, which could also happen, you're at least not going to be out on the streets. Now, this is a perfect segue into the final part of this video: some do's and don'ts. First things first, if you decide to buy Bitcoin, do it in increments versus all at once. The price is so volatile and you could very well crash right after you buy it. Then, once you have some cryptocurrency, it's time to store it somewhere safe. You can of course keep it with a Swan or Coinbase and trust them to store it for you, but that's actually not very safe. These online places get hacked or they can get hacked, so for large amounts of crypto, you need to get something called a hardware wallet. If you're thinking, what if I lose this hardware wallet? Then no worries, because your hardware wallet actually comes with a really long password that you can use to restore your cryptocurrency. As long as you have your really long password, which is often called a seed phrase, your crypto can be recovered. Next, don't buy unless you have a steal conviction. Let's say you buy Bitcoin now at a price of $40,000, then you have to be very ready for it to go back down to like 10,000 and still hold on for dear life. It's such an unproven asset still, it's still in its infancy, and there's a long way to go until it becomes some sort of widely accepted, institutionally accepted asset that everyone can invest in. So until we get there, I would say just plan on holding on. This is why I want you to only buy an amount that you're okay with potentially losing. It will help you keep a calm head as you ride the Bitcoin roller coaster. Finally, I want you to educate yourself. This video is a good start, but there is so much more to learn about cryptocurrency. If you're looking for a good book to read in order to start learning about Bitcoin, the first book I ever read on the topic was called Digital Gold by Nathaniel Popper. It's a super entertaining read. It reads like a mystery novel, yet it'll help you understand the technical side of Bitcoin without making your eyes glaze over. Another really great resource is the Bitcoin Standard. There's a lot of good books and resources out there because knowledge will serve as a reality check against FOMO, greed, and other really tempting gambling behaviors. Unlike during the run-up of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies back in 2017, this time around, it feels a little different. This time around, there's buy-in from big names like ARK Investments, Elon Musk, PayPal, etc. Whereas before, the early adopters were more like computer coder anarchists and just it was very non-mainstream. Now, more and more Bitcoin is being recognized by prominent thoughtful people as a possible alternative store of wealth. To quote Ray Dalio, the founder of the hedge fund Bridgewater Associates, it seems to me that Bitcoin has succeeded in crossing the line from being a highly speculative idea that could well not be around in short order to probably being around and probably having some value in the future. So once again, probably being around and probably having some value in the future, it's still not a sure bet, but the fact that Ray Dalio hasn't completely dismissed Bitcoin is definitely encouraging. So I'm not counting on it by any means, but I'm putting myself in a position to benefit somewhat if Bitcoin does become what everyone thinks it's going to become. And there you have it. So before investing in Bitcoin, make sure that you're willing to put your trust in it so that if there's a possibility that things will go south, it will not be too much pain for you. What are your thoughts on today's video? Be sure to leave your comments down below on how you see Bitcoin and your future plans of investments, and don't forget to click that like button. This is Finance Boss, and see you next time.